Hello, everybody. I am Sun Psychic Jean, and please welcome. Look who's here! Aley from Heart and Soul Connected is here.
Thank you for inviting me, Jean. And I love the background. I absolutely love lights and ornaments and tree backgrounds. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah, it's a little festive.
it
It's a
is
little
festive,
festive. And, it's today is the winter solstice as well.
right?
And it's
Mhm.
it's important to have the light on the longest night of the year. And I really love all of the decor as well. As
Yeah.
long as it's not too much,
Commercialized. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I know. Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
my mother used to say that about this lady that lived in our hometown. Like she had the manger and she had Santa and she had lights all and it was way too much. It was like you couldn't even really see anything because it was way too much. So yes, simplicity rocks, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
uh
Yeah. Um, and you could go overboard. I don't know, like I don't know. But I like the traditional or just really subtle type of nods to the holiday season. Now,
yeah,
I am a unique, and as a lot of light workers might be, I'm unique in my family that all the rest of my family really likes a lot of my husband calls it gingerbread. It's all the bells and whistles, and
uh-huh.
they have a Mickey Mouse Santa, they have a Smurf Santa, they have a like all of extra, like the extra, and
Uh-huh.
the Pez
Uh-huh.
Santa, and whatever, I don't even know whatever but there comes a time that Santa's just got to be Santa, and everybody's
Really,
different. So,
everybody is different, but yeah, I agree. I like to see some of the older ornaments that used to belong to my mother and father. And like one year she did all silver and blue, and she apparently took off at the time the polish of an ornament to make it silver because you couldn't buy silver ones then. And there's a couple of them that are so very, very dainty, and I don't want to see them get smashed, but that's enjoyable for me to see those again every year. Yeah,
yeah, it's amazing that some of them have lasted, have made it.
true.
Uh-huh,
Yep,
uh-huh.
that's
I just want to
true.
say hello to everybody who's joining us here. I see Wiki, Garnet, Jamie, Teresa, Venus. So nice to see everybody. Thank you all for being here.
Welcome,
Allie
everyone.
and I
Happy
are going to have
Saturday.
a little chat and talk about the time of the season as well as the ascension. And you can't have a guest on the winter solstice and not speak about the winter solstice.
Very
And I
true.
was on with Terry Renner yesterday, and we had a beautiful conversation as well. And it's a really special time of year. I think it's for me. This is the moment where I honor the change of the season,
Mm,
the longest night of the year, and have hope that have gratitude, I should say, of the sun being getting longer each day from this moment forward. Even though we're
mm,
moving into the winter, we're moving into more sunlight, and I really am very sensitive about that. But it's a time where it's important for me to take note. Hmm.
mhm, mhm. Well, it is a valuable, I mean, just all the solstice slash equinoxes that we have are reminders for us to slow down and savor each and every moment now. And yesterday, I was doing some readings with Valerie Bradshaw last night, and we were using the Yule season of the witch cards. And what one of the messages that kept coming through is, and it made me so happy, was this is the between time. It's not now, it's not later, it's the present. And of course that's what we gift each other every Christmas, but it also is a time present. It's a present for us. It's a time for us to sequester and to um, some people were saying in the chat, "Oh, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to stay home." Stay home even if you don't have a fireplace, stay in the house and enjoy the quietude and the solitude of the season. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Uh-huh.
it's really important. And and I it's important to listen to our own rhythms. I felt like I had that need to sleep, go to bed a little earlier or sleep in a little later.
Yep.
Sort of around the Thanksgiving time, I felt like sort of this energy sort of slowing down,
Bringing
or
you
this,
in.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
little bit of a little bit of calmness and a little bit of I don't know if it's not pressure, but it was just the energy was lowering, slowing down. And I did feel that very much around that Thanksgiving time. And then I feel like right before the solstice, I felt things were starting to rev up, even though and so I'm glad that, at this moment I'm doing well. But I
Mm.
do feel that really just that I don't know, it could have been that it was a rainy day or a cloudy day, or we could have had,
Yeah.
that also has a lot to
Oh, it
do with
does
it.
have an influence. It does. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
today's a bright sunny day, but it's freezing and it's very, very windy outside, like gusting. And
Ah,
but as long
wrap
as the
up,
sun is
right?
shining, yeah.
Wrap
hmm
up in a blanket and stay cozy.
hmm And
That's awesome.
Froxy Roxy is here. Hi, Froxy
Hi,
Roxy. Nice to
Rosie.
see you. And Lark Kemper is here. Wish everybody a happy solstice day.
Uh-huh.
And it's a beautiful time of
Emily
year.
and M.
It is.
Steve. Hi, Emily
Yeah.
and M. Steve as well. Yeah.
M.
Yeah. Thanks
Steve
for
is
being
here.
here. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And oh, I see Emily. Okay,
Emily.
good.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for
Um,
being here.
yeah, and Allie, I just wanted to maybe switch a little bit and talk a little bit about what ascension means for you.
Yeah.
What I mean by ascension is the change in frequency that the earth and humanity is all moving towards, as well as moving into this sign of Aquarius and also the
Right.
age of Aquarius. I think everything had there's so many moving parts to this whole
There
thing.
is.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to see what
Yeah.
what you felt and what you
Sure.
were
Sure.
experiencing throughout this event.
So, in the fall of 1970, which was a hell of a long time ago, I remember being in school chorus and singing, This is the Dawning of the Age of Aquarius, all of us, and how exciting that was for us because we were beginning to understand that even though we didn't know all the things we know now, there was something happening and it was going to exponentially increase itself over time because that was a long time ago. And now we have fast forwarded to where we are today. And one of the things, of course, it's raising our vibration, keeping our vibrations high. When I went into the study of Buddhism, I remember uh, the concept of nirvana or reaching enlightenment. And I always thought it was a place. It was once you reached it, you're all set. But no, it's not a place. It is a feeling. It comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. But I was explaining to Jean that we've got an awful lot of Christians who have all been looking for the second arrival of the Christ. And no offense to anybody that's Christian at all. My feeling is that we are the second coming of Christ in that we embody the Christ consciousness and that we lift our vibrations and are such as he was. And therefore, yes, there may be a second coming, but it's up to all of us to be part of that. Because, in other words, it isn't just one person who saves us. We need to save ourselves. And he said that. And, Jesus said many years ago, and this isn't a religious treatise, but he just said, you can do what I can do, basically. And so we have to really take him at his word. And since this new energy vibration has come into play, we've seen the elevation of the planet as well, and we're seeing it worldwide. But we're also seeing some problems with it because there are people who are not aware. And the hardest thing for us, I think, at least for me, I'm not going to speak for the rest of you, but the hardest thing for me is not being sucked back down into that negative energy or into that place where my vibration is going to be stifled, because I would rather bring them up to here, but not with my voice, with my light. And if they're not willing to come along, that's on them, because everybody has free will. But it's just sort of a beautiful amalgamation of all of these beautiful ideas we've all had over the centuries, and a willingness to carry the light for other people. And I really truly believe we came back here to do that, those of us in this community. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Lark is saying the ascension, some are leaving third grade, going to fourth grade, some are going to fifth grade, and some would stay in third grade because they still have lessons in third grade, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
he
Yeah.
says the new earth is a higher frequency. And think of
Yes.
a fan. When the fan blades spin real fast, you can't see the fan blades. That's the
Absolutely,
higher
Lark.
frequency. Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful description. And yes, the dimensions, third dimension, fourth, fifth dimension, and more. I mean, we have the potential to arise up past fifth grade if that's what we choose to do.
Mhm.
But the fact that we know that there are some people that have to stay back because that's their path, and
Mhm.
just let them have at it, so to speak. Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
beautiful representation, Lark. I love that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that Terry Renner and I were chatting yesterday and on a show, and we were saying that there is indigenous tribes that sort of just vanish off the planet, and they say that they have ascended, and
Uh-huh.
or that they have they're enlightened beings, like they've mastered the ascension process, and that
Mhm.
they are now in a new dimension and on the new earth, and they could have been the
Right.
first ones to have, maybe they were the first test subjects or something, and they
Maybe
did
they were.
ascend,
Yeah.
and they're in a new realm or a different vibration, and we can't see them. It looks like that they vanished, but they really didn't. They're just
Right.
in a new realm. I thought that was
Right.
interesting, and I felt like they said that it's when we go through the different changes of the frequency and vibration, that some of the off-planet beings, when they were here in this world with us,
Mhm.
they were not able to stay in this world because of the vibration, the change of the
Yeah.
frequency that humanity was. They were not able to be compatible with it, and they had to leave. And
Yep.
that now, with humanity rising and changing our frequency and vibration, there are other frequencies and vibrations around us in our systems that are no longer compatible with the earth frequency or the frequency of
Yeah.
humanity.
Yeah.
Anything with greed or fear or
Mhm.
manipulation, any of that is no longer matching the
Right.
frequency of where humanity is moving. So
Mhm.
those things that we see falling away are all of those things that have been holding back this ascension process.
True.
And I feel
True.
like it's only, and it's I was on with Val from Dragonfly Crystals,
Mhm.
and I said, what if we're the sleepers? What if we're the slackers and the lackeys? We're the
Uh-huh.
ones that said we didn't want to ascend, but um, but but the ones who are the catalysts in our world right now are making it uncomfortable so that we move forward and choose to
Yeah.
ascend and choose to change. Maybe they're the ones that are highly evolved that agreed to come back and be a pain in our butts so that we would
Push
finally
us
ascend.
along. Right, to push for progress. Absolutely. I love that, Jean. Yes, that's right. We don't know, do we? We just, but sometimes we move further because we've been prodded by somebody that irritates us.
Yep.
So yes, absolutely. I have not read all three of these books, but I recommend the books by Dolores Cannon called Three Waves of Volunteers. And just the idea of three waves of volunteers says to me, this group came in to get this much done, and then this group came to, and we are part of the wave in whatever capacity that we chose to come in on. And I really believe that when people leave the planet, I know my brother left in 2007 because he knew what was coming, and he wasn't choosing to embrace all the work that needed to be done in order to live in that energy. And I think that's why some people stay, and that's why some people leave. And I make no judgment. They did maybe they were the first wave, and now they're saying, okay, you guys take over, So yeah, it's really wonderful to look at it from more than one little tiny perspective. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're all one consciousness. We're the human
Absolutely.
consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
who knows, maybe when we get to the afterlife and we all high five each other and we're high fiving the instigators, and
Awesome.
saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you
Thanks
for.
for pushing my buttons so that I made some changes. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I love that, Jean.
It's it's
Yeah.
it's just a different perspective.
Uh-huh.
It's a wider, a more distant and overall type of perspective that allows us to remove ourselves from that really emotionally charged or that manipulated type of feeling that we're in the
Yeah.
trenches, which a lot of us feel because we are all empaths and very highly sensitive individuals here. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that, it's the balance of
We
being
do.
in there because we all feel it. We all feel
Yeah,
it so much, but
we
being
do.
elevated and have that perspective because we are aware as well. And
True.
it's that give and take, it's that balance. And this is why I feel that a lot of the spiritual workers or light workers find it so challenging, but we're the leaders through this elevation or this ascension process or evolution process.
And we are the ones that we've been waiting for. You know, you think, oh, well, somebody will come along to help. Oh, wait a minute. You mean I'm the one that has to do it? But in a good way, in a good way. If sometimes we have to be pushed into something, or prodded into something in order to make a change that's much needed in life. So, yeah, I love
Mhm.
that.
And, it's something that not needs, I feel challenged and I feel reminded to blend with my spiritual awareness in every step, like walk your talk.
Right.
It's not easy. It's almost like when I'm meditating or I'm doing a reading, I have one awareness. And then when I'm cooking dinner or I'm, having a
Yeah,
discussion with my family member, I'm a different person. But we really need to integrate and to blend these together.
definitely.
Do you have
Definitely.
any
Yeah.
um, just insights on how to blend those together and how to carry that with us?
Well, there's two things that come to mind. The first thing is that we have a responsibility to do that, but we are human, and so sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes we're having a bad day. Sometimes we get caught up in something, but it's the word authenticity. It's being who you are, 24/7. And again, like I say, we are not angels or ascended masters. We are simply human beings, and so it's reminding ourselves that while we all have a shadow side, or we are flawed, and we need to not beat ourselves up if something happens and we're not communicating from the heart. We need to realize that, oops, I got to slip back into what I should be instead of what I was. But give yourself the grace that if you make a mistake or if things don't go the way you'd like them to, that it was just a mistake. It was a mistake, and you can do another take. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really important is non-judgment. And look at
Right.
Wiki just said that. She said it gives us the
Yeah.
opportunity to show grace to those who we have issues with and
Absolutely.
ourselves.
Yep.
And Lauren says, my sister transitioned in 2016, and I know she is helping me every day.
Oh,
Absolutely. We have a whole
absolutely.
team of supporters on the other side.
We
And
do.
Jen says, I could easily get stuck in one thing after another mindset, but choose to have the faith in spirit that it's all happening for a reason. I feel a sense of strength over despair. That's beautiful, Jen.
That's beautiful,
It's
Jen, and you've come through so much, and to feel that way and not bitter is an ascension. You have brought yourself up above that. So
not to say that maybe tomorrow you might forget it and go back to something. It's that allowing ourselves to dip back and forth because we are
that's right.
moving from one vibration to another or
Yeah.
one frequency to another, and it's this back and forth and this balance. I said I had a show that I did by myself, and I said I think that balance is the new buzzword for 2025, is to find that
Yeah.
balance, is and to find the balance of, you know, being connected to our nuclear family and to our community in our nearest vicinity, yet also be connected with the world. You know,
That's
it
right.
this
That's right.
this
Mhm.
is. Mhm.
Yeah,
I just feel like there's that balance,
it
and
is. Mhm.
I it's a challenge, but if you when we live an authentic life, it comes with the human aspects
It
and the
does.
human side as well as the spiritual side. We can't be, not that we can't, but it's not likely that I'll be walking on this earth and be a higher vibration or a what a ascended master walking on this earth.
Right,
Possible,
right.
but
Yeah,
not likely.
right.
But to strive for this
Mhm.
is what is all they ask, I think.
That's all
Mhm.
yes, it's the ultimate goal without, busting your chops because it goes up and down. You know, it's like I said, enlightenment is not one process, it's a continuing process. Yeah.
Mhm.
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 Yeah.
And what do they say? I know that somebody put out something a little bit different recently, but, before enlightenment, we chop wood and carry water,
Yes.
and after enlightenment, we chop wood and carry water.
Absolutely. We're just people that have daily duties, and it doesn't mean that we're better than anybody else, even after enlightenment.
And I have, I've done several readings, and with the loved ones on the other side, really share a peek
Mhm.
at what happens on the other side by what they share with me. And one somebody's brother said, he said to his brother, he said, "Man, you know, let go of your grudges, forgive those people. Make sure you do it while you're here on this earth, while you're in your body. It's important to forgive people and to let go of those grudges.
Right,
Don't
right.
carry them with you. There's
Yeah.
not, and it's not the amount of payoff, so to speak, that we receive when we are able to do this here in this world
Mhm.
is, it puts us in a whole different
Sure.
position when
Yeah.
we go over to the other side, and we don't have the opportunity because there is no risk on the other side to forgive somebody because we're all light and love on the other side,
Right,
unconditional
right.
love.
Mhm.
Here we need to
Wow, wow.
be go against all the um I don't know, any of the challenges in order to forgive somebody and really dig deep. And it would take a lot for us to forgive somebody and to let go of our grudges while we're here. It just means so much more. It has so
Sure.
much more
Yeah,
gravity, you know?
absolutely,
No pun
absolutely.
intended.
And well, and I love that. But the other thing is that we, are one of our worst judges here and there. There, we get to feel what everybody else has felt. We get to see what other people have seen and so on, and we can see the mistakes that we're making, but we're our own worst judge in both here and there. I truly
Hmm.
believe. Yeah. Yep. We
Hmm.
are. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Lauren says, I believe with all my heart, that the ascended masters, angelic, angel, and galactic and ancestors want us to invite them into our day. That's for sure.
Agree.
I
Mhm,
hear that too. I can
mhm.
automatically ask for help now. It was hard at first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very,
Mhm.
very true. They're there to serve you, and they're like, you know, it's like they're going, "Hello, hello, we're here. You want any help?" But they can't butt in. They can't butt in. So thank you, Lauren, for reminding us. Yeah.
No, and I think that's part of the evolution of humanity. I feel as though we are going to have access to our spiritual guides and our loved ones. I do feel as though we're going to have more guidance that is I don't know what you would call it, apparent or obvious, a
Mhm.
real resource. And,
Yeah.
I don't think all of that was supposed to be conditioned out of us. I feel as though
Great.
whatever we felt at birth and as it, growing up as a child and having that, that imaginary friend or whatever, or all of those things, if they were only be encouraged rather than schooled out of us and saying that you believe this, don't believe that, if
Mhm.
we were encouraged and brought up in a spiritual knowing who we truly were and told who we truly were, can you imagine where we would be now? I just
Yes.
wish they would have like a society where we would start just somewhere start teaching the
Mhm.
young ones and have like a utopia, I guess. Anybody else ever
Well, no,
dreamed
and there's groups of people. For instance, I believe in the there's a Montessori schools or something like that, where they teach children meditation and they teach them how to, be mindful, and they teach, and it's amazing how those children are able to function so much better in the world than others are. And yet there are people that fear that, thinking it's a bad thing. Oh, I don't want my child. That's indoctrination. No, it isn't indoctrination. It's allowing them to grow spiritually under their own fire, so to speak. So yeah, I agree with you, Jean. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's lots of hopes and dreams and possibilities, but and that's what
Mhm.
we're almost going through a rebirth, or I feel I should just speak for myself. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
going through
Mhm.
my own rebirth,
Mhm.
and it's taken 25 years. That's a lot of labor pains, but it just happens over and over, and each
It
day
does.
it changes just a little bit more. And to change at any point in time in your life is not easy, but to let
Right.
go of some of that program or conditioning or societal expectations. I don't know about you, Allie, but I was always one to buck the system. I mean,
I was
like,
afraid to at the time, but now I'm really a renegade. I think I had held on to some fear, and no offense to my mother, but she was always fearful of lots and lots of things. And I think I integrated some of the fear of not speaking out. But at the same time, I've always been that person who's done things other people haven't done, like come home and told my mother, "Yeah, I'm taking karate classes." She was mortified, "Why are
oh,
you doing that?" And I said, "Because it's excellent, for you, mind, body, and soul." And she had a hard time with it until she realized it was the one of the best things I'd ever done. So, yeah, being a renegade and choosing to, and it's not something you chose to hurt anybody else. It was merely for your own edification and growth. So, yeah. Yeah.
mhm,
Wow. I
mhm.
love that,
And
Jean.
I just found that, natural medicine really worked best for me, like
Mhm.
acupuncture and chiropractic and, all of these things. I would nobody would be able to help me unless it was like a natural path or something like that.
Wow. Wow.
And, it's, and I don't, there's just a lot of that I never subscribed to, no pun
Oh,
intended, but I never bought into it. I never believed it.
right.
It didn't resonate with me. Like it
Uh-huh.
just didn't feel like the energy or the frequency that, like when you sit in a doctor's office, and I mean, no offense if anybody's a doctor, but
Right. Right.
and go to your doctors. I'm not saying not to, but it just wasn't right for me. And
Right.
so I had
Right.
to find my own way. And when
Mhm.
I found out that it was the original way, that all of this other stuff that we are forced to do is the new way, and that the
Uh-huh.
way that I felt guided or attracted or connected to was the original way.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really profound. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And of course, I have gone to doctors when I've needed to go, but really doctors are trained, regular doctors are trained to fix the the symptoms, fix the symptoms. And we need that sometimes. But also, we need to fix our symptom, our own body. We have to have a belief in what it is that we're having done, not just stifling things that are cropping up, so to speak. So yes, this should be a good again with the balance idea, Jean. There should be a good balance between, going here and trying this and trying that, and each of us has to make our own decision about how that balance comes out for us in our own life.
Mhm.
So I agree. I think that's wonderful. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Aley, if you feel comfortable sharing a little bit about uh, I, your hypnosis session that you had, and if any healing came from that, and how it that changed you and your perspective.
Uh-huh. Fortunately for me, I had a hypnosis session in 1989, first of all,
Oh,
and I
wow.
was with my brother, and we were down in Virginia Beach at the time, down near the Casey, and we went in and asked the lady if she would not bring us to places we had been together. He was 13 years older than me, so we wanted to know what lifetimes we had lived, and it was profound. It was, and both of us, she says, I've never done this before. I usually only have one person at a time, but she was very good about letting us experiment with it, and it was wonderful. And so when Dave Johnson uh, said, let's do some work together, and I said, oh, absolutely. And he said, I'd like to do this with you. I said, right, perfect, wonderful, yes, please. Oh yeah, it is beautiful at the ARE. If you get a chance to, Jean's, you're not too close, but you're not that far away. If you get a chance to get down there, but there was a great and profound sense of peace as to why the pieces of my life unfolded the way that they did. This life unfolded the way it
Oh,
did. I really believe that those things which resonate for us in this lifetime were remembering lifetimes from long ago. When I went back to college uh, in the mid 90s to get a first master's degree, I came upon an enlightenment class, and I felt very connected to it. And I could, everything that was being said seemed familiar to me. And it didn't last long enough. I think the 8 weeks went by and I was hungering for more. And so when that lifetime came through, it made perfect sense to me that I had spent my time in that lifetime. And that's why I felt so connected. I wasn't, a lot of people will say, oh, they were, Immanuel Kant or whatever. No, I was not one of those people, but I was a person who was able to work with those that were there. So that was nice. My second lifetime I went to was in New York at Victorian age. And I love the Victorian age, always have loved the Victorian age. Some people might say, well, you went to those lifetimes because you like those things. And
mm,
why do I like those things? So,
uh-huh. I think
there's something
it's
about that.
the other way around. Yeah, you like those
Correct.
things because yeah.
Because
No,
I've
I
been there
know.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The third one that I went to, which has not been yet published by Dave, was spending time in an Essenes colony as an Essene.
Wow.
And if you're not familiar with that, it's Qumran, and it was at the time of Jesus, and Jesus was at this place, and I met him, and he talked about how he was able to travel all around the world, and so on and so on. And there was just great verification for me. And I
Mm,
really totally felt I could see, hear, taste, touch, smell, so to speak, everything that was going on. And it gave me a profound recognition of the importance of things in my current life, and also the lessons that were gleaned in each and every one of them that led me to the life I'm at right now. So there was a big sense of peace if you ever get an opportunity. Some people will say, well, I can't go under. I'm not able to go under. Well, I can tell you this, you may be under and you're not realizing you're under. You're thinking you're not under, but you are
Right.
under. So
It's just a relaxed state.
it is.
It's like a
Yeah,
meditative state. And
absolutely. Yeah.
I feel as though it does open up that access to the other side where your intuitive skills, my intuitive skills it just really increased from having several past life regressions and
Wow.
hypnosis sessions. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
enabled me to access the place where I go to connect to the other side
Mhm.
without hesitation or inhibition, like,
Right. No
before.
judgment. You were just
Right.
watching. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. What
And
did you feel
yeah,
that way when you were there, that you realized that's why you're interested in that certain thing now, or did you have that? You did. Yeah. I wondered if it
I
was even more.
did.
Yeah.
It is fascinating, and I tell this one all the time, but one time I was just in a group session, and it was I was a Roman soldier,
Mhm.
and I could tell that I had the helmet on with the
Yes.
mohawk, the red mohawk thing, and it had like the helmet had the piece that came down over the
Mhm.
nose, like between the
Mhm.
eyes. And that was so specific for me.
Yeah.
I looked all over for that helmet and found out it was Roman. I didn't know what kind of soldier I was. But
Oh. Hmm.
and it was, I was a man, obviously, I was, maybe in my late 20s, and I was standing like this with my arms folded, and I was, like, buff, tan,
Uh-huh.
buff, sandals, a little skirt, and leather hanging across me, and,
Uh-huh.
I was
Wow.
very sad. I was thinking to myself about my family that died in the fire because
Uh,
the enemy had uh, ravaged the village and burnt all the houses, and my family died. And I was very sad, and I was in the army, and that profound sense of experience, it was like I was there, but it
sure.
wasn't a man and a soldier. It was Gene in his body.
Right.
I was still me,
Yeah. Right. Right.
my
Yeah.
consciousness, and that, because I thought I was going to be somebody else. I was
No.
somebody else,
Your
but I
soul
was
was your soul was the same. Right. Absolutely.
abs-
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the most profound. And I mean,
Wow.
talk about like a jump off point. I was like, I've got
Yeah.
to learn everything I can about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just some sense that, um, I remember my brother, one of the experiences he had was he was buried alive, and
Mm.
he was in the casket, and he's like, oh my God, I'm suffocating in here. And the woman had to take him out of that, which you can do, because you're supposed to be watching it, but he was feeling it as himself, and he had done some things in this life that were suffocating him. And he had actually voiced his daughter was hit by a car coming off a school bus, and she was thrown, and she's still alive. She's been in a walking coma for years, but his sense of anguish, and he screamed when that happened. And that was, he had this experience with the past life thing after that experience, and so he knew why all of this resonated so much for him. It's like
Wow.
not being heard, being suffocated, being left behind, not able to see the completion of his daughter's life as a regular child. And it was amazing. It really was. And then another time we were together on a mountainside, and for some reason the wagon let go and pushed him off the cliff, and the wagon went off the cliff, and I was standing there, you know, and left behind. And there just was so many wonderful, that isn't wonderful, but realizations are wonderful. The realizations are.
You
Yeah.
gain perspective, you
Yeah.
gain wisdom, you gain understanding, and it's almost like it gives you peace of mind, and
Yeah.
it allows you to move forward, and with
Yeah.
this, just a perspective. It really changes a lot in how you move forward. And I think that with him being buried alive, I know that that was very common because there
It
was no
was.
way to tell whether or not people were really dead.
Right.
It was hard to tell. And that's amazing that he went through that. But I do feel as though, so his daughter had the accident before he did the past life regression, but
Yeah.
now he understands, and that
Yes.
stifling feeling that he felt was reoccurring in this life until he was able to um,
Let
break
it go.
through,
Yes. Yeah.
or to
Realize it. Yeah.
heal that in this world.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It was, it was an ongoing issue, and I'm not saying he let it go completely, because he didn't, but it made sense, and this is what those things do. You'll see the reason that you feel the way you do about things that don't really make any sense if you think about it, in this lifetime. It's like, why would I be afraid of heights? Why would I be, what is it that created that? And if it's not something in this life, it would have been from the last one, or last
Hmm.
few, whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite profound, and
Uh-huh.
really, enabled me to gain a perspective to understand the ascension. And I
Mhm.
have done private journeys and meditations and spirit led meditations,
Mhm.
and have been introduced and had some beautiful experiences during
Yeah.
the I call it more of a journey than a meditation, because it is all created. It is all
Yeah.
creative process, but it is quite profound, and
Mm.
it's like it's more real than this world, and
It is. It
sometimes
can
it's
be. Yeah. It can be. As Lark said, you're looking through you at that other time. Hi, Terry. And because it is our soul, and our soul is immortal. I mean, we can tap into that soul and go back, 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 if we choose to do that. Um, but and I believe that we are actually. I even asked Dave this question. I said, "Can you do a future regression?" Not, and he said, "I haven't really tried one, but I suppose you could." But assuming that you were going to choose to come back here or somewhere else, or if you were completely done with coming back. And so I said to him, I don't really think I want to know at this point, because I don't want to go to junior high again. So I don't think I want to come back. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
It's not easy,
mhm.
it's a school,
It is a school.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's an experiment,
Mhm.
and it's a beautiful living ecosystem that we're all a part of. And how we got detached from being of the world, and not, or yeah, of the
Yeah.
world and not in the world. We are of the world. We are
Yeah.
part of everything else, and we
That's
are all one consciousness.
yeah.
Um, that unity consciousness, uh, that we're all one soul, and that we're all
Right.
one humanity, and we are all one. And it's really important. I mean, I say that a lot, but I think it's encouraging to try and remind ourselves of considering what that might mean for each of us. It might mean something a little bit different, but I
Mhm.
do like to encourage and maybe suggest that we contemplate what that might mean, and who in our lives, what it would change in our lives if we understood that we were all one humanity, we were all
Mhm.
one soul.
Mhm.
And maybe even just uh maybe calm ourselves down, and have a more understanding and more of an observer type of a role,
Right.
rather than an agitated participant, whereas we understand now what possible, um what what it could possibly be, and it gives us that sense of um observing, that just that sense of
Yeah.
resolution, sort of.
That's right. That's right. And being open to that observation. One of the most debilitating things in society right now is the concept of duality, that things have to be good or bad, up or down, in or out. You don't have to choose. You have the freedom not to choose a side. You have the freedom to just be, and to embody that consciousness that is allowing yourself to understand that everybody's different, everybody has a different purpose, they're all not going to believe the way that you do, and yet we feel, and I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else. We feel sometimes we have to convince somebody
Mhm.
of something.
Mhm.
And the truth is we don't. We don't have to convince anybody of anything. They have to make their own realizations. It's like when you have a person in your life that has an addiction problem.
Mm.
We'd like to think, oh, well, you should take them to therapy, that you need to do this, you need to do that. You don't need to do anything. That person has chosen this, unfortunately, for good or ill, as part of their life lesson. And you are to hold space for that, or set a boundary for that and walk away from it if you can't cope with it. But we want to fix, especially as moms. I know that there are moms out there like me. We'd love to fix it. My son gave me some news this morning, and I just said, no judgment. I understand. I would love to see him fix his issue, but that's on him. It's got to be on him. And I just stand there willing to embrace him and to support him in whatever he
Mhm.
chooses.
And
Yeah.
it's okay to feel, empathy and
Hmm.
still not do anything. And
True.
it's not easy because
Hmm.
we do feel,
Yeah,
especially as parents.
we do.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do.
Mhm.
We have that feel like we have that responsibility, but at the same time, yes, there you go, Linda. Yeah,
She
yeah.
says, "Don't get in the way of another soul's lesson." It's a hard, and that's not easy to
Mm, mhm.
incorporate into our everyday understanding.
It
But
isn't.
it's really, you know, a- and I'm no expert here, guys. I'm just trying. I'm
No,
just wanting to share some
neither
of
of
the,
us. Yeah.
yeah, and I
Mhm,
appreciate you. All of the community here has
mhm.
so much to offer, and we're all better together. And
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that I would not have excelled or grown half as fast as I did these last 3 or 4 years without each and every one of you challenging me and supporting me and
Mhm.
shining your light.
Right.
Especially especially Wiki.
Uh-huh.
But she often finishes my sentences for me, Allie, and I don't know if she does that for you, but she's quick as a whip. She's so
So
smart.
many in
All
the
of them.
chat,
I know.
they just come out with these profound statements, and I
Mhm.
love that you notice that, and I do. I notice it all the time. There are some that may or may not do that, but yeah,
Yep.
we
They're
wouldn't be
very
here without you
supportive,
guys.
very
Yeah.
supportive. And I feel like that we're all on the same wavelength. I feel like
Oh,
that
yeah.
we're all connected in some way for sure.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it's really beautiful. And Um, I just lost my next where I was going
Train of
from
thought.
Linda.
Uh-huh.
To not to interfere with other people's lessons. Oh, Kelly from Cali Healer had said, "We come into this world alone and we leave this world
We
alone.
do.
It's
Right.
important for us to take care of ourselves and not mind our own business, but make sure our business is taken care of first before we go trying to fix other people or to, make
Yeah.
sure
Uh-huh.
we are very important. It's our responsibility to take care of this human container, to take
Right.
care of our own mental health, to take
Mhm.
care of our own relationships. And and that's a hard lesson, but to
It
put
is.
ourselves first and to
Mhm.
honor and respect and to love ourselves because of the fact that when she said that, when we're alone coming into this world, and we'll be alone when we pass out of, I
Yeah.
mean, most of
Yeah.
us, but you know and we have this sense of responsibility, but it's an honor to take care of this human container of
Mm.
of the divine spirit that is my eternal self.
Right, right. Absolutely. We first have to take that response, because you can't pour from a cup that's empty. You have to have that cup filled, and you're the one that's responsible for filling your own cup. If you would like to share it, that's fine, but don't take away so much that you're parched, because then you have to work harder. It reminds me of the idea of Reiki and distance healing. It's not necessarily our energy that is used in that concept. It's the universal energies. And so we're giving of our knowledge and our experience with moving that energy, but we're not to deplete our own. And because how can you be a powerful being if you deplete your power to help somebody else? And they should not do that for you either, really. And that doesn't mean you can't get a hug from somebody, or you can't, can't get love from them or any of that. But we have a universal supply that's available to us, and we don't realize it. So, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
that conditioning. It's that
it is.
conditioning, Allie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the hollow bone. We allow the information and the healing to flow through us, or the
Uh-huh.
conduit, you know.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
each do have an endless supply. That's so beautiful. That's a really beautiful way of remembering that, you know,
Yeah.
it, and this is part of the conditioning and the societal expectations or norms that may be changing or modifying, you know. And I
Mhm.
do feel as though, being the light workers that we are, and I feel as though we're going to be helping other people. I do
Mhm.
often feel
Mhm.
that, you know. And I have some people that, when I'm at the psychic fairs, they come in and they sit down and they're like, I have this dream and I meet this man and he tells me I need to move. What does that mean? And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people. Yeah.
No, I know. I
Yeah.
love what Lark shared with us. I came here to share my energy, and I've gotten so much more back. Well,
Oh,
thank you for sharing your energy, because and Roxy and Lauren and Wiki and anybody else that's made any kind of comments, because it really is a community effort. It's not, we're probably not saying anything that all of you would not have said, really. It's just we happen to have the forum at this particular moment, but it is I think the hardest conditioning we had was if we were growing up, when we were growing up, and I was growing up in the 60s, mostly in the 70s, I was told that that's really selfish if you did something for yourself. And sometimes it was selfish. For instance, I would like to get that toy, or, because you're a kid. But mostly we need to let our children know and let others know that there really isn't anything that's selfish if it is something that empowers you, that helps you. It's your part of your self-care. If you want a hot bath, if you want to, take the afternoon off, it's those boundaries that we have to set. And that's another thing, between you're too selfish and we don't know how to set boundaries, that it's been difficult for some of us that grew up in those times, and to all of a sudden change the way we do things. But it's been very empowering to do such. So, yeah, that's
it
wonderful.
is. It is. It's
Mhm.
an amazing growth opportunity.
It is.
And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so Allie, I just wanted to share with everybody, if it's okay with you.
Oh, yeah.
I we Today is the winter solstice, and
Yeah. There you
Daphne,
go.
Stacy, and myself will be doing a sound bath. It's called Wings of Light, and it's a solstice sound bath for angelic connection. And it's tonight at
Mm.
7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And I can put the link in the chat, but I just wanted everybody to know that it's really a very special
Yeah.
participation with these ladies. And it's really quite, it's just mind expanding, and the tones and the frequencies of the bowls, of the crystal bowls, and
Mhm.
then the Akashic record downloaded meditation it's just so it's really amazing. Each one is amazing individually, and when they
Mhm.
combine them together, it's like there's a whole nother experience there. And
Yeah.
I will be doing moderating. That's my
Awesome.
role.
Well, that's okay. That's beautiful. How beautiful
Yeah,
is that?
and
Yeah, I've
I'm
watched you
honored.
before, and that with those ladies, and they're wonderful. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
I just am grateful that I'm, included, and just to be a part of it, to be invited. And so if anybody is available, I also know, I don't know if Ali, you're going to be part of the Shine Your Light,
yeah.
the
Yeah, I'll be
event
on there.
that's going on.
Mhm.
Some of the rest of the community will be doing that, and they're going to be turning on your porch light at 7 p.m. And this is to show solidarity and show that we're
Yeah.
all one and that we are supporting each other. And they're doing it across all time zones. So they're going to
Right.
start in the Eastern time zone, and
Mhm.
it starts at 6:30, and then we'll have people that have an offering, and then at 7 everybody's going to turn on their light at the Eastern time zone, and then they'll have an offering, and then at 7 p.m. in the Central time zone everybody will turn on their light, and then so on and so on. So it's
Mhm.
a beautiful idea, and it's a good way to spend time together. And what it's also beautiful to have it on the solstice as well.
Yeah,
um,
definitely. Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. Jean and I will be back tomorrow on my channel. She comes, on specific Sundays. And Terry Suzuki was on last Sunday, which was wonderful to have her back. This week it's Jean. So we'll be on at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then later in the day, I'm not sure of the timing yet. I haven't got it up, but Diana and I were supposed to do a Yule trees. Yeah, talk about trees. Yes, and we were going to do that. I think it was Thursday, and she didn't feel well, so I said
oh,
we can reschedule. So we're doing it Sunday night. Yeah, and looking forward to that. And I actually have some cards that are from messages from trees. So we'll talk about it, and we'll do that, and
I love
hopefully it'll
that.
become more of a series. Right now, it will be the spiritual meaning of trees. So we're
Right.
gonna,
That's a
yeah.
great idea, Aley. And is
Uh-huh.
there anything that you can't do? I mean, you are absolutely
Oh,
phenomenal. You're not
my
afraid
friend,
to try it.
My friend Charles and I, we were told that we both probably could teach any class if we had some lead time. We could teach any class except for math. And so, yeah, I enjoy the challenge. I do. I enjoy the
Yep.
challenge. So,
Yep.
yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
smart as a whip. You
Oh,
have so much
it's been
wisdom there,
fun.
Aley. And everybody, please do go over and subscribe if you have not yet to Heart and Soul Connected. And I have Aley's information in the show notes below, and I will put the link to the solstice sound bath in the
Yeah.
show notes below as well after the show. So, but thank you, Aley, for spending this
Thank you,
hour
Jean.
together with me, and
Uh-huh.
for talking about the ascension, and just it's a huge subject. And I'd like to maybe get, if any of the community is interested in coming on and sharing their viewpoints and their experiences, I would love to
Yeah.
expand this and talk to different content providers and different
That would
community
be
members.
wonderful. Yeah, it
Hmm.
is. It's very, very it's enlightening in and of itself, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yep. What's that? Enigma or something, whatever they call that inside of
Uh-huh.
an enigma.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're putting puzzle pieces together to make the big picture. There you go. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for being here, for being part of the conversation. And thank you, Aley, for your wisdom. I love chatting with you. And thank you for coming on my channel and being my guest.
Of course, anytime, you know that. Yeah,
I'm
thank you, Jean.
you're always hosting me, so I like to give back. And
I
I thought
love
this
it.
was a good
And I
time.
love being with you. Thank you very much.
And
Thank
I
you.
hope you enjoy your break as well. So, all
Thank
right,
you.
everybody. Thanks.
Bye, have
Thanks
a good
again. We'll see everybody again soon.
yeah.
Oops. They move these things around. I'm going to the other one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you enjoy this content, hit like, share, and subscribe. Remember to click the bell to be notified of future videos. Thanks again. Bye.